Okay, episode 3, Tree Peakers podcast, where we share encounters that happen to people that sometimes they sit on for years and years. Got a good friend of mine with me. He showed up on episode 1. This is my firefighter buddy. We're going to remain anonymous with the name, and we got a hell of a story for you this time. So, my good friend, let's go and travel back in time a little bit. What year was this? I think we're headed to Boise, Idaho with this story.
We're heading Boise, just north of Boise, Idaho.
Okay.
This one's like 2014.
2014. So this is about 5-6 years. So basically, you fight fires. You're out there in the boonies, out there doing a great service to us, right? And this shit don't happen every day.
No.
It's not. Right, we got 6 years in between your last story from 2009, from episode 1, right? So, hotshot firefighter, you're flown in, helicopter, a crew again of about, what, 20?
Yeah.
Okay, now this one, folks, for whoever's listening, you're in for a treat on this one. Let's start from the beginning. You guys get there. You know the story better than I. It's been shared with me once before, but I've been relishing this opportunity since I talked to you the first time 7-8 months ago. Go ahead, brother. Boise, Idaho.
Man, here we go. The third one.
Let's go.
So we same scenario. We get flown in, and we get flown in 20 miles back. And it started off as a small fire. It was us and a couple jumpers, a couple smoke jumpers.
Okay.
And they flown us in. They jumped into the fire, and they couldn't contain it.
Are these the guys that have the things that they'll pull over them if it gets too chaotic?
Yeah.
Is that what they call them?
So in our world, you go smoke jumpers, hell repellers, then hot shots.
Hell repellers.
Yeah, the hell repellers are just the guys who propel out of helicopters.
Okay, I thought it meant like fighting the flames and shit, like you're fighting hell.
It just sounds cool.
Hell yeah, it does. Yeah.
So the jumpers.
So you're out there to do some serious fucking work.
Yeah.
You're not out there for fucking playtime.
No.
You're not out there looking for this subject.
No.
Right?
No.
This is the last thing that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And it's the last thing on your mind because fucking the Gila National Forest is 6 years behind you.
Yeah.
And even then you didn't know what had happened.
No.
Right? So, all right, let's take these people on a fucking wild one here, dude.
And so, thinking about like the last time we talked, our last interview.
Yeah, and if there's if there's anything you left out on that too, and you want to pop it in here and there, that's cool too, because we didn't have a lot of time last time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was crazy because like throughout the day, like there was one part when we were down in Gila, like you'd hear like kids laughing.
This is story 1?
Yeah, so like if we go back to story 1
from the Gila National Forest in Mexico.
Yeah, you would hear like way out in the middle of nowhere, you'd hear like kids laughing.
That's so weird because you know what's attributed to a lot of these encounters is childlike laughter and babies crying.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that?
No.
Well, of course you wouldn't, because like I said, I've dove into this fucking thing. This subject.
So like we'd be walking
kids
out.
Laughing?
Yeah, like just like
children laughing.
Yeah, children laughing.
Where it shouldn't be.
Where it shouldn't be. And like, let me rewind a little bit. Mm-hmm. We were way out there, and I remember like I was a saw boss, and I was just like, hey, this is our line. This is where we put our line. We're gonna punch our line this way, and you're gonna follow me.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was a trainee, so me and my boss were walking, and out fucking the middle, like
bumfuck nowhere. Yeah, okay.
And you'd hear kids laughing.
What?
Is
this day or night or both or?
This was like at night.
Oh my god, that would be creepy.
There's some days we'll be out there just punching line, and we're walking in front of the guys, and the guys will be behind us just fucking cutting line.
Yeah.
And you just hear out of nowhere like just kids laughing. And
that's like some Blair Witch Project shit there. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah,
from '96. Yeah.
And because you'd hear that and your heart would stop.
Right, I'm sure it would.
Your heart would just like did I just fucking hear that?
Right.
And we're like we look at each other. He don't like I'm not trying to tell him I'm scared.
No doubt.
And he's not trying to tell me. So we go. Or like again, we'll be way out there. Like you hear whistling.
Dude, another thing associated with them.
And you would just hear just like a random whistle.
Loud?
Like
off in the distance?
Like off in the distance. Just
right,
like,
where you
just
shouldn't hear a fucking whistle.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like a person whistling? Or is it different?
Different.
I've never got to hear that. I've heard the growls. I've heard the,
This is different. This is like more rugged.
Rugged?
Yeah, it's just like, if you were to put, like, someone who whistles, but put a little edge on it, that's what it sounds like.
So, like, bigger?
Yeah.
More lung capacity?
Yeah, big. It just be bigger. It'd be weird. You'd be out there in the middle of nowhere. And you just hear like a whistle, like a long, and it stopped. Like, I can't whistle like that.
right.
They were like,
yeah, I seen you try for a second there. You're trying to figure out how to make that noise. Like,
because it's just like, how do I comprehend this?
It's not like a.
No.
Right.
These are like what you just did.
Yeah.
This picture, what you did, but longer, in increments,
drawn out. Oh, like.
Yeah.
Like in a pattern.
Yeah. It's like, all right, to take your lung capacity.
Yeah.
But you put it in something bigger.
It drawn out.
Yeah. Like your first beat, your second beat, then your third beat.
Yeah.
And like your beat was like 2 seconds.
Right.
Theirs would be like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's like out middle nowhere, and you just get chills.
Right, I'm sure you do.
Like,
we're talking nighttime.
Nighttime, middle of nowhere. It's just me and my boss were walking out there putting line out, and we're like, what was that?
Right, did we just hear that?
And we're like looking around, and for us, for Navajos, like you don't whistle on it. They tell you for some reason.
You're right. Don't whistle at night.
Yeah, they tell you at night. Don't whistle at night.
You know what's funny about that? When I was bartending one night and I was whistling around at the end of the night, a Navajo woman, Native American woman that I work with, super nice lady, friend of mine, was like, please don't do that. And I go, what do you mean? She goes, it's superstitious to us Navajos to whistle at night. You draw in bad spirits.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, because I never heard that in my life until, let's say, 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And then you just brought that up now.
And
these whatever they are, these prehistoric human beings, or...
Yeah.
Because to me, they're not fucking animals, and they're not... I made a mistake on the episode 1 of referring to it maybe as an animal, but they're not animals. There's some human component to them.
Yeah.
Right? If they're fucking whistling, if they are chattering out there, and they got... You've never even heard, like, the Sierra sounds? I'll fucking send them to you.
Yeah.
Of them talking and shit.
Yeah.
You never heard that shit?
No.
Oh, yeah, dude. But you've heard other stuff that's all in...
Yeah, I've heard, like the whistles middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. I've listened to... I've listened, but I've heard the whistling.
Yeah.
I've heard... I think the most eerie thing is... Like, when someone whistles, you automatically look like, oh,
right, they're trying to get your attention.
Like who's around?
Right.
But it's just you, middle of nowhere.
In the dark.
And you can only see as far as the light.
I was just going to ask you that. How far can you see?
Yeah, you can only see as far as the light that will show you. And you're looking back, the fire's still getting some, and it's still fucking running. And you look down, and the guys are like, well, hey, maybe there's another crew up here somewhere that sees us. Or maybe they're going to hit us up somehow, some way. And there's nothing. But I think that the scariest moment was hearing the kids laugh. When you hear kids laugh in the middle of nowhere,
pitch black darkness.
You
shouldn't hear that
in the middle of nowhere.
So this is new. You never shared this with me. So this is giving me like fucking like the goosebumps and shit. Yeah,
like, because I thought I went back and I was like, damn, what else happened that night?
You've been thinking.
Yeah, and I was just like, that was just such a crazy event.
Are we talking? Is this still? So we went back to the Gila.
Yeah, we're still in the Gila.
Okay, so this is for everybody that's listening. If you listen to episode 1, this is before we get into Boise, Idaho. We didn't have much time with episode 1, but we wanted to get it done. We've been wanting to get it done for so long. So we went back to the Gila National Forest in New Mexico. So this is our firefighter's continuation of his story, where also you heard the whooping.
Oh, yeah.
So now you've thought about it. You heard children laughing.
Yeah.
You heard whistling. And you didn't call it a whoop when you first met me.
No.
The best thing about it is when I first met you and you shared your story with me, you sat there for a minute and you tried to think of how to describe this sound, and instead of describing it, you just did it.
Yeah.
And you did it on the first podcast too, where
and that's what
or whatever that was, right?
And that's what it sounded like. That's exactly what it sounded like. It was like long and drawn out, and like when you first hear it, it just sounds like
different.
It sounds different, but
yeah,
it sounds like something that's fucking with you, But the most eeriest thing, like, because back in the hill, like, that whole thing just felt weird.
Really?
The whole thing just felt eerie. It like felt haunted. It felt like something was watching you the whole time.
Oh, that's another thing that's attributed with these encounters is you feel like you're being watched.
Yeah.
Right?
And so, like,
so you felt that.
Yeah, it just felt like you were just being like under the scope. Like somebody was just like watching you all
Dude,
the time.
I've even heard stories of hunters where they feel like they're being watched on some of these podcasts I've told you about stuff, where they get their gun and they start looking around and they is that something? And they focus in and there's a fucking eyeball watching them from fucking, I mean, how far does a fucking scope see?
Yeah.
But it's almost as if that fucking thing is looking dead through that sky. And they said, like, how you described when you heard that scream, I've heard hunters say when they see that through their scope. I've heard it more than once.
Yeah.
Okay? Something feels like they're being watched. They look through their scope, and this thing, their eyeball is looking from who knows how fucking far, but it's like it's watching them.
Yeah.
Almost like it can see from that far away.
Man, that roar, though. Man, that roar.
So the way you did that whoop for me, there's no fucking way in hell you could even attempt to fucking...
No. It was like...
Let me tell you something about the growling I heard in the Bistai when I haven't yet shared my story on this podcast.
Yeah.
I've shared it with another, but not my own. But I will in the future. But the growling that I heard, bro, was so like you say, the lung capacity on it, like...
It just sounds big.
Bro, like there was almost like a fucking alligator bubble to it. It was like... Ooh, like, dude, that... And my fucking tiny ass, like, doesn't even do it justice.
Yeah.
Like, but when you hear that shit, north, south, east, west, and they're snapping twigs all around you, for years I accompanied it. I thought maybe when I went out for that hike that day and my car broke down and I got stuck out in the Bistai Badlands for the night, I thought maybe I drove over a fucking an ancient burial ground.
Yeah.
And it was a supernatural experience.
Yeah.
Until I started talking to people such as yourself and other people sharing stories.
And that's what we thought.
Yeah.
We thought, hey, maybe there was a battle, like some kind of battle out here maybe there was a tribe settled out here.
Yeah.
And, like, something happened.
Because, dude, in 2002 when that happened to me, I didn't know nothing about this shit.
Yeah.
So I wasn't thinking Bigfoot. I wasn't thinking Sasquatch. It was the furthest fucking thing from my mind. And I think the encounters happen to people that don't know anything about it. It's almost if you're out there looking for it, you ain't going to find it.
Yeah.
Don't know if that means that they know you're out there looking for them, but it's like it's the unknown.
Yeah.
It's when you're not paying attention to whatever it is that's going on, and like it just happens to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And man,
Isn't that weird that my shit happened at night too? It wasn't broad daylight. It was the fucking nighttime.
So let's fast forward.
Okay.
Let's fast forward, and now we're in Boise, just north of Boise.
2014.
Yeah, we're in the Cascade.
Okay.
We're in the Cascade right now. We're in the Cascade, the forest.
Really?
Ranger District. It's about maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half from Boise, just north of Boise.
Okay, that's the city.
Yeah.
So we're talking.
It's not even a city. It's a little.
Just a little town. I've never been there. Never been there. Is it smaller than where we're at?
Yeah, way smaller.
Really?
Way smaller.
Okay.
Yeah.
So never been to Idaho. Heard it's fucking gorgeous. It's beautiful. Are we talking fucking just Rocky Mountains that fucking that roll on?
It's crazy because it's like so Boise looks like. A lot of people probably get mad, but it almost looks like California, just like rolling hills, just grassland.
Okay, yeah.
But once you leave Boise going north, man, that bitch changes so much.
Really?
It turns into like nothing but mountains.
Okay.
Nothing but fucking mountains.
Are these the Rockies?
Pretty sure.
Or the Cascades?
The Cascade.
Whatever
you want to fucking say.
Okay, we're out.
And I know someone will probably fucking correct us.
That's fine. You know what? It's like this is so spontaneous. We're not sitting here like, we don't have a pen and pad in front of us. If people only knew the circumstance that we're in to put this fucking thing together, we're not in a studio. You can hear cars driving by. we're doing this out of the goodness of like wanting to share these fucking stories, right? Like we're not professionals and we're not trying to be. We're two real fucking people that are sharing real shit that's happened to us, right? And that's what I want this thing to be. I don't need a fucking studio. I don't need to be, this ain't for money. This is real shit.
Yeah.
That fucking gives me a thrill, dude. And I could tell that it had an effect on you when you opened up. This next story we're about to get to, I think we're gonna fucking peel some fucking skull caps off of heads on this one right here. So so we're fast forwarding. We're in Boise, Idaho. We are north of Boise.
Yep.
We're in the Cascades. You're with your crew.
Yep.
Where do you want to start, and how did we get to where your spotter and all that stuff? Where you think somebody is one of your guys is out of, like, if you're all marching in a line going to where you need to go, how do we get to where you think someone is taking a piss break, taking too long, fucking around, they're behind the tree, shit like that? Let's start from where you want, and let's cruise on in.
And so again, fast forwarding, we were jumpers.
Okay.
Jumpers, they're already on the fire, and we go and we fly in after them, and we touch down, do all that with them, and now we're just cleaning up, their mess. And probably about, I don't know, 10 acre fire. We're punching line around this whole thing.
Is it? So does that mean like early on in the fire?
Yeah, like early on fire.
So you're a fresh crew out there.
Yeah, and we're the only crew out there.
You're the only crew out there.
Yeah, it's just us and the jumpers.
Okay.
Us and the jumpers are out there, and so we go out there. We're punching line around this thing, and my buddy's like, when we were just getting our asses kicked all day.
Yeah.
None of our guys are acclimated. People are going down, and we're like, so we're backing up. Hey, let's just take little chunks of this, and we'll just keep on fucking chunking. Mm-hmm. And finally, we wrapped the fire. We finally got around. I mean, we contained the fire that night, and when that evening came, they're like, hey, homies, who's that down there?
Now, real quick for our listeners, what time are we talking about during the day? Where are we at?
So we're at dusk.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that makes that all the more chilling when you go in to see who the fuck is back there.
Yeah. So we're sitting in about 8 o'clock.
Okay.
No.
Summertime.
Summertime. 7 o'clock.
So you've got about 45 minutes of light left.
And
Okay.
And so we go down there, and we had one problem child on our crew.
No, I remember you telling me this.
So
okay.
we have one problem.
So that's
child.
why you thought it could have been this dude fucking around.
Yeah,
one of your guys.
Yeah, one of our guys.
Yeah,
the problem child. Total shitbag.
Yeah,
and so we go down. I walk back up to the hill, on top of the hill, and they're like, "Hey, who's that down there?"
Now this is, once again for our listeners, is this your spotter talking?
Yeah, it's my spotter.
This is your spotter.
This is our lookout.
Your lookout. Thank you. So you got a crew. You got a lookout who is. What is he at a higher elevation?
Yeah, he's higher.
He's higher. He can see you guys.
He can see the whole fire.
And he's got what, binoculars?
Yeah, binoculars.
Okay, so that way we can give detail and you know what I mean, perspective for people listening, since they don't have visuals of this shit, and they can use their mind to imagine what you went through. Yeah. So your spotter, he's looking down and he's asking you, what does he say? Who's that fucking around over there?
Yeah. And he's like, hey.
He's on the radio.
He's on the radio.
Okay, he calls over the radio, right.
And so I'm walking the fire one more time. As hey, everybody's counting on 4. Hey, we're all going to bump out. We're all going to meet back on the top of the hill, like where we had our little base at.
Yes.
And the jumpers were staying there. We were staying there. And I was all right, cool, bet. And I go down. I walk around, and I'm like, hey, everybody's counting on 4. I'm the last one walking out. And I'm walking out, and one of the guys is like, hey, who's that behind you? I was like, behind me? What do you mean behind me?
Right.
And he's like, there's one more guy behind you. And he's walking right behind you. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, hey, turn around, and we're like, God damn it. And so,
did they? Do I remember correctly too? Is where they thought they seen him peeking behind a tree or some shit?
No, that's earlier. That's earlier.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, that's later.
Later. Okay. Yeah.
And so I go and I start walking back.
Yeah.
And I started walking back towards, and he's like, hey, he's like, I don't.
Oh, right, it is later. Right, okay, yeah. It's all coming back to me.
And so I'm walking back up, and this thing and he starts walking back the other way.
Now, is this your spotter telling you this?
Yeah, my spotter's like,
because he's watching you.
So the first time, so when I turn around,
and you don't see anything.
I don't see anything. So I'm walking back the direction he told me. Like he told me, hey, there's someone behind you.
Yes.
And so I'm walking back.
And there shouldn't be unless it's somebody in your crew.
Yeah.
Because you're fucking in.
Yeah, there's only us and 5 other jumpers.
Yeah.
There's only 5. There's like, yeah.
So there shouldn't be anybody out there fucking around.
Yeah.
Nobody can walk to where you are.
Yeah. We're way out
yes,
there.
There you go. Yeah. Let's get
there.
that established. We are in the fucking boonies of fucking Idaho in the Cascades.
Yep. We're way out there.
Yes. So it's got to be what you're thinking. It's got to be one of your fucking the guy that you call the guy who's fucking around. He's known for it.
Yeah.
You think it's maybe I'm wrong, but maybe you just had like code names for people. I think before you told me, what's Charlie doing? Is he fucking around? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll call him Charlie.
Okay.
And so
cool.
so we walk back because it was funny because like Charlie's the fucked up thing to say because he's a Navajo, but he looks Chinese, so we just call him Charlie.
Okay. Nickname.
Yeah, nickname.
Okay.
And we just call him Charlie because back in Vietnam, it was called Charlie. You know, don't let Charlie catch you.
100%.
And because since he was a shitbag, we named him Charlie.
Right.
And so we go down.
A little bit of hazing by the crew.
Yeah.
Hey, boys will be boys,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And so
it's all good, bro.
And so I walk back up, and I'm like looking around, and I'm just like, hey, Charlie.
So you're calling out.
Hey, and because that's the only thing that came to my head.
Right.
I was like, hey, Charlie. And I go walk up, and I walk. Okay, maybe he's at that. Maybe if I go a little 100 feet,
to the tree line or something?
So let me walk up a little further.
Yeah.
And I walk up, nothing.
Yeah.
And I go down and walk all the way back down, and I'm like, hey, so and so at proper. And
you're on the radio?
Yeah, I'm on the radio. I'm like, he's like, yeah, go ahead. I was, hey man, I'm down here, and I don't see anybody.
Yeah.
I was like, well, he's like when you started walking up, like he walked up a little bit and he dove off into the tree line, and I was like, and at this point I'm getting irritated,
right?
Because I'm like,
because you're not there to fucking play little kid games.
Yeah. Because I'm like, god damn it, it's just. I was like, all right, cool bet. I was like, when I find Charlie, I'm gonna. Oh man, it's on when I find
right because you should be doing some other shit.
Yeah. Because everybody needs to be going out.
Yeah.
And so we go. I go back down, walk back up the hill, and he's like, yeah, he like. So when I started walking back up again, like the thing walks back up again.
So when you start, you're like, okay, fuck, I'm done here. You start going.
Yeah.
And spotter sees that there it is again.
There, he's like,
you don't see it.
I can't see shit.
Right.
I can't see anything.
Right.
And he's just like, hey, and I go back up, and nothing. Then I was like, maybe he went up even further. I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna get a little higher. Then I can look down this valley and just.
So you're looking all over.
Yeah. So I go up. And at that point, I'm mad. I'm like...
Right, you're pissed off. It's that serious. Your spotter sees this.
Yeah.
He's letting you know you think it's one of your crew that shouldn't be fucking around.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I got to figure this out so we can get back to business.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I was like, Charlie, man, if I find you, I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
I was like... And so I go back up.
Right, it isn't funny anymore.
Yeah, it ain't funny anymore. This is not funny anymore.
Right.
And so I go walk all the way back up, and I'm now, like, I'm taking out my binoculars, and I'm like glassing. I'm glassing where I was at, and I'm just like, I don't see shit. I'm like,
so you're combing the area.
Yeah, I'm looking down in the area, and I can't see anything. And so I go back down, and I'm just like storming down, and I'm like looking all around.
So time is passing. The sun is like
the sun's starting to go down.
Right. Okay.
And I'm like, man, I gotta find this guy, dude. It's like this. He's a rookie. I was like, this fucking idiot is gonna get lost.
Oh, he's a rookie. So that's right. That's why you think it could be him. He's known for these kind of
he's a rookie.
Shenanigans and shit.
Yeah,
just fucking around.
And if he gets lost,
Oh,
That's my job.
And it's serious.
Yeah. And I'm like,
right,
dude.
okay. Yeah, I never took that in consideration because I never been out there. I didn't see that perspective. So you're worried, you're angry, you're pissed.
Yeah.
Like, your job is, you can't have anybody just falling out of line and shit.
And so I walk back down, and I call Lookout. Yo, hey, proper. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. I was like, hey, man, I'm down here, dude. And I don't see nobody. He's all, look over your right shoulder, dude. He's like, I can see him. He's behind a fucking tree.
Oh, my God. This is where we get to this part. Okay.
And I'm like, what? I was like, dude, there's 100 trees behind me. What tree? He's like, he's like, it's the one. If you were to take maybe 10 paces, he's probably about 10 to 20 paces behind you.
So he's been watching him, and he now sees whatever, behind a tree. Mm-hmm. Is he peeking out?
At this point, not yet.
Not yet, okay. Because that's where I got the name for this podcast from you describing this story.
And so I'm walking up. I'm walking up, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, I was like, tell me when to stop.
Oh, okay. You're in radio content with your Lookout.
Tell me to stop. I was like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker now, man. And so I get up there. He's like, yeah, he's right behind he's like, look behind the tree. I look there. I'm like, I look at my Lookout. I throw my hands up. I'm like,
because he can see you through the binoculars too.
I throw my hands up, and I'm like,
when do you notice?
Oh, dude. So
right, because I don't want to leave that part out.
And so I go up, and I'm looking around, and that's when my boy said, "Hey, I see him again." I was like, dude, quit messing with me, dude. I was like,
right,
I'm tired, I'm hungry. I was like, where? He's peeking behind the tree.
That's how he described it.
He's like, I can see him.
So he can see him from afar through binoculars, but you can't see what's right in front of you.
I can't even see nothing.
Right.
I just see a tree line.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, where are you looking at, dude? Because I cannot see this kid. And at this point, I'm boiling. At this point, I'm just like, mother.
You're heated. You're fucking mad.
Yeah.
Because in your mind, what this subject matter is for this podcast, you're not thinking that.
No.
That's not on your mind.
Nope.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not this. That's what I want to stress to people. When you told me these fucking stories, they weren't Bigfoot stories. They were shit that happened to you, and I'm the one that goes like, bro, those are fucking grade A fucking Sasquatch encounters that I've heard similarities in. And one of the biggest things that are accompanied with a Sasquatch encounter when they're around, when they're fucking with somebody, when you happen to come up on them, and maybe whatever it is, there's a smell. And you've described this smell to me.
And so I'm like, I can smell something.
Right.
The whole time I'm walking up and down, and it's like, at first I was like, wow, it's I can like a dead carcass. But when he's like, hey, he's peeking around the tree, I'm looking at him right now, dude. He's probably 20 yards in front of you, and so I started going that way. And when I went in that direction, the smell.
As you got closer,
as I got closer, the smell like a horse was hit, like weeks ago.
Like rotting,
just rotting
flesh.
It was
rancid meat.
Oh man, it was so bad. I was just like, God.
Really? So you've smelt that smell that's accompanying it.
And so when I'm walking, I'm like, God damn, what the fuck is that?
Right.
And I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I'm gonna turn the corner and I'm gonna see a big ass elk
that's been taken down by wolves or some shit.
Yeah. Or I'm gonna see a wolf, or I'm gonna see something dead though.
Yeah.
And it just gets it gets super bad, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like fuck.
Right.
And I'm mad. I'm still walking.
Does that make you nervous, thinking you could come up on a fucking wolf pack that's on a fucking kill or anything?
No,
or
you're not thinking. Not even that. I was just like, usually like when there's fire around, everything just moves out.
Okay, so you guys are fairly safe in your little area, that zone that you got to go to.
Because wildlife's smart. I mean, when the fire happens, they'll fucking move out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool to know.
And so, I know I'm just like, man, what the fuck? And I'm just like,
So according to your spotter,
yeah,
if he can see him through the binoculars, he sees you, he sees it. The sun is setting. You've been going through this for about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You're fucking heated at this point.
I am like, I don't know if the heat is the right word.
You're boiling, right?
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So he sees it peeking behind the tree. He thinks it's still one of your crew. You guys are not thinking anything out supernatural, out of the ordinary. You're trying to get this figured out.
And so what happens
How
is...
far do you think you are from... If this thing is in front of you 10 paces, let's say, to the tree line, how close do you get where you still can't fucking see it, but he can?
So, that was the weird part. And so, I'm watching, like I'm walking forward. He's like, oh, like, hey, yada yada, hey, proper, this is so and so. Yeah, go ahead. He's like, dude, he's right in front of you.
Doesn't he tell you at one point, like, stop? He should be right there.
Yeah. He's like,
right.
That's when he says stop.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Like, hey, stop.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
Hey, stop. He's right behind you, behind this tree. And
so he should be fucking right in front of you.
And I'm staring at this fucking tree.
Yeah.
I'm staring at the fucking tree, and I'm like, and I go walk up to the tree,
and you got this smell that's accompanied by the area you're in.
This smell was so bad,
pungent.
Yeah,
or is that not?
I don't even know.
So it's funny because it's like how you couldn't, like, the roar doesn't like fit when it roared.
Like you wanted to throw up. Like,
really?
That's what you wanted to throw up.
It's that vile.
Yeah, and so I'm walking towards it, and I get there.
Let me ask you real quick. Ever smelt that before?
No, never.
Okay, all right.
And so...
And how many years you been fighting fires and been in the wilderness?
17.
17. Okay, so think about that, everybody listening. This is a professional here. This is why he's telling me this story that's out of the ordinary. It's not something that's happened out of 17 years.
Yeah.
This is the only story you have like this.
Yep.
Okay?
And so I go and look in, and I'm just... There's nothing.
Yep.
This bad fucking smell. I'm like, fuck this, I'm out.
Right.
Like, if this kid wants to get lost, fuck, we'll find him tomorrow. We'll find him dead tomorrow. Fuck, whatever. And so I walk out.
You've been dealing with it that long?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just like over it. I'm walking out.
Night setting in.
Yeah, night setting in, and I'm walking. I get back to the road. I'm not back to the road. Back to our trail. Back to our line that we put in.
Yeah.
And so I'm walking the line. He's like, hey, I guess homie's done fucking with you because he's following you out.
What? It came back out?
Yeah, he's following you. Apparently, like, I don't know what you said to him behind the tree, but I didn't see shit, dude. I was like, and he was just like, yeah, he's like, I was like, fuck it, whatever, fuck him. I'll deal with him when we get back to camp. And I'm walking, and my conscience is like, dude, if you lose this guy, the amount of trouble you're gonna fucking be in,
right?
And so
it's gonna fall on you.
Yeah. So I'm like, fuck it. Let me try to keep my cool. I'm gonna go tell him.
Be a professional.
Be professional. Just
okay.
Hey, get your ass back up. And so I walk back down, and he's like, "Hey, he just stepped off the trail again."
As you turned around to go back.
And so I'm just like, I throw my hands up, and I look at him.
So for everybody out there, real quick, what this guy's seeing is walking on two legs.
Two legs.
Looks like a person.
Yep.
I want to make that clear. It doesn't.
Big. How my spotter sees it, he was moving his hands. So it's like walking.
His arms were swinging.
Yeah.
Okay, for everybody that can't see, the motion my buddy here is making is the arm swinging. If you're into this and you know this topic, that's accompanied with them.
And he's
like, right? He's swinging. That's what he looks like through the.
Yeah.
He's big.
And so I go back up to where he was at. I'm like, fuck this. I was like, you know, I got a little bit of experience in tracking. And so
from hunting and whatnot.
And so I take my flashlight and I put my flashlight sideways to the ground
because it's dark.
Yeah, at that point it's getting dark.
Okay.
And
so it illuminates the ground for you.
And so I put my flashlight sideways, right equal to the ground.
Okay.
And I see my footsteps.
Okay.
Then, so I'm walking, right? I'm walking.
Yep.
And so I go down, I put my flashlight down.
Right.
Just like this.
Okay.
And I see my footprints. I see my tracks, right?
Yes.
I see my tracks. And I see barefooted foot tracks.
Barefoot tracks where yours are.
Where mine are. And I'm looking down. And I'm
with
like,
toes and everything. Barefoot.
So just picture your thumb.
Yeah.
If you know how your toes are.
Yeah.
But just picture, if you could put your hand, make your hand, but put it on your foot.
Okay.
And if your thumb was sticking out where your big toe, like on the side of your foot.
Okay.
In an arched.
That's what it looked like.
In an arched. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, my heart stops. My heart drops.
In comparison to your footprint, size-wise, what are we talking?
I'm a size 12.
Okay.
This thing must have been like a size 15.
That's big.
And I'm like,
barefoot, which it shouldn't be out there.
yeah. There's
Who the fuck's gonna be walking around with no shoes on out there?
If you could take a monkey's paw print, like that's what it looked like.
Really?
Like it was weird. It was just
Like an extend, like it's fucking.
Like the thumb was out.
I wonder if that's to like grip trees, if they're like climbing up tree, or like to have better grip with their feet, because they don't fucking wear shoes like us.
Yeah, because I remember looking down.
Right.
And at this point, I'm like, man, you gotta be fucking with me. And so I go.
And you said your heart sank as if like you shouldn't see this.
No, like that. You shouldn't see this. And
right. In all your years of tracking, ever seen that?
No, never seen that before.
Barefoot, fucking
Nope.
size 15 prints.
Yeah, you'll always see with an animal. You always see some kind of like
hoof or paw.
Hole, exactly. Hoof
Yeah.
or paw, and you'll see something, and I'm like, oh, dude, someone's fucking. And I'm like, someone's fucking. And so I go walking to back where I was at. The back where I kept walking around looking this area.
Right.
And I get down, and you can see my footprints. And you can see that thing's footprints. And I remember, and what scared me the most is you could see my first footprints walking out. And I'm like, and so I'm watching my footprints. I'm like, and I start following my footprints out, and you can see where this thing comes out. And it starts following my footprints.
Really? Like tracking you?
Yeah, it was like literally stalking me. It was like a mountain lion stalking me. But his, so you see my stride.
He's going right. You see, okay. There's a difference in stride.
Yeah, you see my stride. His stride is a lot longer than mine. And I'm just walking, and I'm like walking towards. I'm like, you got to be fucking with me, dude. I'm just like, and at this point, I'm like. In my head, I'm like, holy shit, now I'm the hunted.
That's how you felt. Like you were being stalked.
Yeah, and then because when
out of this whole entire encounter, now that's your mindset.
Yeah, my mindset was like, hey, I'm being stalked. And I kept glassing, I kept fucking shining the area, and you could just see his footprints all over.
All over?
All over where I was.
Like, right.
It is what it was like a natural trail. Like you could see my tracks, and because like when we punch line, when you put line down, those are fresh tracks.
Right.
It's not like, oh well, hey, I'm walking the sidewalk, so there's 1,000 footprints on this.
Yeah.
But it was just that one same footprint.
Yeah.
In my tracks.
It was fresh.
Fresh. And at this time I'm just like, and as I'm looking at the ground.
So these prints that are with yours. They're following you. It's happening right as you're in the moment. These aren't from a week ago, 2 days ago.
No.
These are as fresh as your footprints in the ground.
Yeah, and I always remember just like, and I'm sitting, I'm like looking, and at this point I'm scared, and I started walking out.
So you feel fearful.
Yeah, at this point I call my spotter. Hey, call. I was like, hey, call squad 1 and see if. If home is there.
Oh, see if, because that's the one thing you didn't check this whole time.
I was like, yeah, call him. And so he calls, and he's like, oh yeah, he's standing right here next to me.
So now you know it's not somebody from your crew.
Yeah.
It's not the guy you were thinking of.
And now I'm just like.
Is that where you told me, you described to me like now all your senses are telling you?
Oh man, it was like
your fight or flight response.
Yeah, it was.
Because you're a big dude.
You're a big dude. It was like it's I don't know what Spider-Man feels like when he like has that sixth sense.
No, dude, this is what they talk when those things are around. Your sixth sense is off the chart.
But mine was like telling me to run.
Really?
It was like whatever it was, and the scariest moment was I was there and I'm walking. I'm fucking walking, and I can't. The smell that I told you about earlier.
Yeah.
The smell. I can't smell it. And all of a sudden, I start to smell it. Again.
It went away and now it's back.
Now it's back. Like, again, I've walked down this trail several times. Never smelled it. And now I'm walking to an area where I can smell that. And now
you know it's accompanied with
something.
With whatever's going on right now.
And like
are you putting it in your head like, shit, what I thought is a cart now is this smell accompanied with?
And I'm thinking like, oh, this could be a bear.
Okay.
Maybe it's a bear. Maybe it's mountain lion, and like my mind is just like
your mind's racing.
Just racing.
You're trying to compute what's going on.
Yeah, and my mind's just telling me run. Just
because once again, we're not in the fucking city.
Yeah.
We are in the fucking wilderness.
It was crazy. It was so crazy because I was so off. Like when that smell got so strong, like something in me was telling me to run, but at the same time, something in me told me to curl up into a ball, just close. It was like
the fetal position.
Yeah, it was like it was like, hey,
holy shit!
Like, it was like, hey, grab your clothes and just put it over your eyes. Just put it over your eyes. I've never felt that afraid, and I'm just like, shit.
Really? So in your life, no matter what you've been through, rough age of how many decades you've been on the planet? 4?
Yeah.
4 decades.
Yep.
You've never felt this scared in your life.
No. And I just felt like, man, I was like, and I'm walking, I'm just like, oh, here we go. Something like a big ass fucking mountain lion, bear.
Like you feel like you're about to be attacked.
Yeah, and I'm walking out, and I'm just like, and my heart's, and I don't know why I'm scared. It was like, so like with Navajo culture, they talk about like, hey, when you smell something dead, that's usually a skinwalker.
Really?
That's usually a skinwalker.
I mean, it's been a long time, but I think I remember
that's usually a skinwalker. That's usually a bad spirit following you. And man, when I smelled that, I was just like, oh.
You remembered that?
Yeah, and my head went back to that. I was just like, oh fuck, man. I was just like, oh, here we go. I was like, there's going to be a huge ass skinwalker or something, and so I'm walking out, and my buddy's like, hey, and so they're calling me, hey, so and so's walking behind you, and I'm like, okay, cool, bet, and I'm just like, fuck it, let's just keep going,
right,
and so I walk out. And he followed me for a little bit, then he turns, then he goes back off.
This is what your spotter tells you?
That's my spotter. He's walking, he
as you're
off.
headed back to home base.
Yeah, and I get up this fucking hill, and he's just like, what was that down there?
Is that when he asked you if you saw a bear or if you saw?
Yeah, he's like, was that a bear? He's like, dude, you look like you've seen a bear.
He could see your reaction from where he was.
Yeah, because he saw me and he was just afraid.
Yeah.
He's like, dude. He's like, when I came up to him, I was pale white.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
He's like, I came up to him, my hands were shaking, and
so you just had an experience. You went through something,
and he's
traumatic,
like
a traumatic experience.
And he was like, what did you see? I was like, I don't want to talk about it right now, dude. I'm just, let's just fucking go.
Right.
We don't need to be here. We don't need to be here right now. And the next morning we go down there, and so let me back up a little further. So when we went down there, it was a nice clear. The trail was clear.
Right. Are we coming to like wrapping up the story here?
Yeah. And
right.
so
this is when you guys are walking out.
No. And so this is when we're walking back in to check the line real quick.
Okay.
And there's down trees, broken like halfway up, broken down, all leaning.
About high? How high?
Maybe about 12 feet high, broken down, just broken, and it's just all
in a line.
Yeah, all in a line.
So like, not wind damage. You've seen wind damage.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah.
Something broke more than a few trees.
Yep.
going in a direction, certain direction.
Yeah, certain direction.
Broken at 12 feet, you think? 10 to 12 feet?
10 to 12 feet, yeah, 12 feet.
Bro,
this is
who's going to climb up there and break you?
And these
something that has to be fucking huge to do that.
And it was broken, like, it wasn't just like every other tree. It was just like...
Every one
of the trees are broken, pointing at a certain direction. And like, now that I think about it, there's patterns. Like, okay, so many feet was broken here, so many feet was broken here, so many feet was broken here.
Like there was intelligence to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And
so we all walked back down there, and one of my buddies, we started looking down the footprints, and now everybody's seen the footprints.
Really?
Everybody's seen the footprints, and I wish that we had cameras to take pictures.
Right.
Because
right.
I mean, some of these footprints were huge.
There was more than just what you saw?
No, there was just
the ones.
Just the one footprint, but that one footprint was big. Must have been like maybe I'm a size 12. That must have been 15.
That's a big footprint, especially barefoot.
Yeah. And it was no barefoot. It was no barefoot.
No, I mean like barefoot, meaning like no shoe on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, you know what a bear print looks like. What I meant, what I meant is it's a barefoot, human-like print, but different.
Yeah.
Right. Are we close to...
That's it.
Okay.
And we walk out, and everybody's just like, dude, I don't know what that was. You were lucky.
But nobody brought anything up about what we're talking about.
No.
Right. Wasn't a top. I want to stress that.
Yeah.
That wasn't... You professional firefighters weren't like, oh, we just had. You thought they thought it was a bear that you guys thought it was right.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until, let's say, 7 years later when you talked to me where you put it in your head, hey, this sounds similar to what the hell you were talking about. Maybe I had a Sasquatch encounter.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Listen, I want to thank you for your time. We got 45 minutes in on that one. And just like last time when I wrap this in and get it all taken care of, I'll send it right over. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, man.
I want everybody to know that I am greatly appreciative of you sharing those with me. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Very, very much.
All right.